As you can see, according to your check-in sheets, we are going to be looking into self-abandonment. And the reason why I think that is very important is because many of us, if not all of us here in this room, have at some point in our lives abandoned ourselves. Maybe it was short-lived, temporary, throughout our addiction, specifically, especially under those circumstances. But it also might be something that lingers even after you've gotten sober. It could have been something that began a long time ago, maybe even in early childhood. And there are signs that indicate a person is abandoning themselves. What do I mean by that? Do you guys have any idea what that means? What's that concept? Self-abandonment, yes.
I would like giving up on your goals, your appearance, things that are important to you or that used to be important to you.
Good, yeah.
It's like people pleasing.
People pleasing. Putting others' needs ahead of yours, yes.
Starting to isolate.
Isolating, okay.
Compromising your core values.
Compromising your core values, okay.
That's exactly what
That's what you were gonna say?
poor self-care, poor nutrition.
Or self-care and nutrition. Yeah, good, excellent. You guys are all on the right track. When a person doesn't feel connected with themselves, sometimes you might feel like you don't want to be who you are, or you're uncomfortable in your own body. You don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. You're dealing with a lot internally that is oppressive, and it seems like a punishment to be yourself, dealing with all of these internal issues. I get that. I've been there. I know what it's like to completely despise my own existence to the degree that I attempted to murder myself out of vengeance. And I was quite satisfied at witnessing what I thought was my own demise at my own hand, as blood was spewing out of my neck. I made a transition from that perspective to now believing with all my heart that I am the most important person in my life today. And that's a dramatic change. That's a complete paradigm shift. To go from hating myself so much that I wanted to kill myself and I tried to kill myself to now I prioritize myself as the most important, significant person in my life. How did I do that and why did I do that? Because I think the extreme response to all the problems that I had, and it went far beyond looking for external sources of comfort, relief, pleasure, enjoyment, distraction, the people, places, and things, right? The drugs, the alcohol, the fast whirlwind, toxic relationships, kicking it with the homies, seeking validation from other people, basing relationships on transactions and performance, and seeing my value only according to what other people thought of me or how useful I could be. To now, I think of myself before I think of anyone else. I've finally taken full custody of my own life. And recognizing that how I feel, how I think, and what I do is my prerogative, not yours. It's my responsibility, not yours. And it's in my power and my capability to manage and mitigate whatever issues that I have personally. In order to do that, I had to become self-aware and be rigorously honest with myself. So I had to do some introspection. I had to challenge myself and ask myself why. Why do I think the things that I think? Why do I feel the way that I feel? Why do I do the things that I do? Why am I seeking these unhealthy, adverse coping mechanisms? what I concluded for myself, and I don't know what the answer is going to be for you, but what I concluded for myself was that because early on as a kid, as a little boy, I wasn't taught to value myself based on the way I was mistreated, abused, abandoned, neglected, tormented by those who were supposed to do the right thing for me. And so my brain wasn't able to make the right connections and seeing myself as having inherent value and worth, and having my survival mechanisms prematurely activated continuously as a result of repeated trauma and traumatic events. I was hypervigilant and overly anxious about other people and my position or my status in their view. I was more worried about you and what you thought of me than myself. And I was willing to abandon myself and sacrifice myself even so that I could please you and satisfy you or make sure that you're okay with me. That would make me feel better. And so that's how codependency is kind of cultivated many times. That's how people end up in exploitative, abusive dynamics and relationships. That's how people end up becoming repeated victims of abusers and predatory types. And it becomes like an identity when you think that that's what you're here for. You're here for other people, not for yourself. And when other people that do take advantage of that, your lack of boundaries, your lack of assertive communication and advocating for yourself, when you're not able to say no to people, those things, when those individuals that take advantage of that, what happens is they make you feel even worse because they do take advantage of you. They do discard you as if you meant nothing when you haven't done anything for them lately. And what that does is it reinforces the existing thought that you have about yourself, that you're not worthy. So it's a vicious cycle. And the best that you can do is try to find somebody else that you can please, someone else that you can accommodate, someone else that you can be there for. And it's a no-win situation every time. It's funny because I was thinking about how the other day I was with Tyler and his Tesla. And he was showing me how that thing drives by itself. We were on the freeway and he was getting on another freeway. He was on the interchange. And it was like a curve that looped around like a bridge, right? And he's like, check this out. And he took his hands off the wheel and the car's like following the curve by itself. And I'm like, bro, get your hands on the wheel. Like, don't do that. Like, it spooked me out, right? I was afraid. I was like, whoa, this is too creepy. How does this car do this, right? But there's these, they have this AI technology where they can do that. They drive themselves, pretty much. You see the Waymos and all those, right? These autonomous vehicles, man, it's creepy. It spooks me out. But I remember, and I relate that to how I lived my life before. And it's like driving a vehicle that doesn't have that technology. Let's say it's an oldie. It's an oldie but goodie, right? It's from way back when you had to operate your own machinery. And then, but you just think like, I'm just going to let go of the steering wheel and see what happens. Well, if you're not driving, who's driving? And if you think to yourself, well, I've survived many crashes before, but this is a thrilling ride, so I'm going to just do it again. It still doesn't make any sense. The point is, if you abandon yourself, who is going to take care of you? It would be nice if you took care of me, I take care of you, you take care of them, they take care of them, right? If everybody just took care of each other, that would be such a perfect utopian world, right? But that's not reality. It doesn't go like that. Not in the truest sense, and not in the way that we would expect it to be when we're the ones giving ourselves so much for other people. Many of us are willing to go above and beyond for the sake of someone else. And it's really kind, it's noble, it's compassionate, it's empathetic. It exemplifies something good, a good quality in an individual who's able to do that. But it gets to the point where it becomes absurd when you allow yourself to go above and beyond for other people, but yet you refuse to simply meet your own needs when necessary. How much can you do for other people when you neglect yourself? And if you're the type of person that says, well, I just love other people. I love people more than I love me. I love my family more than I love me. I love my kids more than I love me. I love my spouse. I love my parents. I love my friends. I love other people more than I love me. So I'm going to take care of them and I don't care about what happens to me, right? How much really can you love them when you fall apart? When you no longer have anything left to give? And so it's also detrimental to those people that you are trying to serve. Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, how I think about it is like my son, like I have to be the best me that I can be to give him the best.
Absolutely.
Like I can't want to give him the best and not continue to try and better myself or grow in any way that I can. And I'm like that with relationships too. Like with my mom, like I can't like try and help her have a good relationship with my mom if I'm not working on myself and trying to be the better me. Because obviously the previous ways that I've been behaving in the relationship haven't worked. Like that's how I am with like even intimate relationships. Like I always want to be the best that I can be for myself so that I can offer somebody the best.
Yeah.
That's just how I think about it.
You're right.
I think too, if you don't love yourself, you become an enabler instead of a helper.
Yeah.
Because when you don't love yourself, you don't value your time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't investigate more and look to see if they're helping themselves first before you help them. Because at that point, you're just enabling them and making them feel comfortable, and then to continue self-destructing.
Yep.
I think for me, like, I struggle with codependency, and so, like, I think what I would think way in the back of my head was, like, if I fulfill all these person's needs, then they will do the same for me.
Right.
And
But that
That
never
doesn't-
happens.
It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Never pans out.
Unfortunately.
They're not there.
The opposite of self-abandonment or just abandonment is adoption. You think about a child who's abandoned by their parents. If they're fortunate enough, another family will adopt them and raise them as their own and care for them and love on them and nurture them, provide for them, protect them as if they were their own flesh and blood. That would be a beautiful outcome for a child in that kind of tragedy, in that kind of circumstance. But we're all adults here. Who do you think is going to adopt you now that you're an adult? If you abandon yourself, who will take up your place in your own life to take care of you and meet your own needs? It's impossible, because even when we do have, let's say we do have, no, narcissists won't do it. They'll
They seem
pretend.
like they are.
They'll pretend, but they'll end up destroying you. So even if you have, let's say you have supportive family members, supportive friends, supportive networks of people that are there for you, that show up for you, that want to rise to the occasion, maybe even people that are codependent, that need to be needed by you and there to rescue you whenever you fall down, you're drowning in your own vomit, you're back in a detox, back in a hospital, back in a jail cell. There's only so much people can do. And like I was talking to a group yesterday, and there was a guy there that I'm familiar with who shared that he had some legal problems, that, he relapsed and he, ended up getting in trouble and caught a DUI or whatever. And that's common. It happens, right? And it's nice to have that fluffy, soft cushion to land on. Like, hey, mom, hey, dad, man, I'm in the slammer. Come get me. Bail me out. Call the lawyer. Come pick me up. Help me get my car out of the impound. Like, it's nice to have that. It's like a little backup plan, right? It's like your little, your little rescue team. But what happens when it's not just a DUI and you just wrap yourself around a pole? and there's nothing left
Or
of you.
hurt somebody else.
Or you crash into a family and now they're all gone and now you're in prison for life for vehicular manslaughter. Or you're in a hospital bed and there's nothing anybody could do but stand around you and pray and hope for the best, but while your liver is failing. Or you've OD'd and no amount of Narcan is going to bring you back because there's tranquilizer in it, like xylazine. There's only so much people can do. And so this is why it's very, very important. This is paramount. I cannot drive this home any clearer for you, but I want you to really consider and understand this. You must connect with yourself. You must take full custody of your own life, regardless of any of the connections that you have or the lack of connections that you have with other people. That's irrelevant. What's most important is your relationship to yourself, your determination and your commitment to your own well-being. That you would adopt yourself in your life and own it as yours. It is your responsibility. It is your duty. It is your obligation to not only take care of yourself, but also eliminate anything that is negative, that comes in the form of negative self-talk, unforgiveness, self-loathing, self-condemnation, those insidious, depleting thoughts and feelings that we turn against ourselves, that rob us of the opportunity to feel positive, to feel enthusiastic about our lives, to have hope and a grateful attitude, to count our blessings. Instead, we gripe and we moan and we complain and I hate this life and I don't even want to fucking be in this body and everything sucks for me. Woe is me. Pity, pity, pity. That's going to take us out every time, especially if we're trying to recover and stay sober from a substance addiction or any behavioral addiction that ultimately destroys us. How long can you sit with yourself being sober if your mentality and your feelings about yourself are entirely negative? It won't last long. It's not even a question of if you will relapse. It's when. How long do you think it's going to take? Is it going to be your first day out, your first week out, within the first month of the first year? Who knows? But if you haven't fully embraced yourself in your life and accepted yourself for who you are and forgiven yourself and learned to love yourself unconditionally, which is not based on performance. You're not waiting for yourself to do something that's worthy of your affection and love and endearment toward yourself. You just know who you are. You embrace your own life and your own existence, and you seek to preserve it and enhance it in the healthiest ways possible. When you make that decision, that determination, there is nothing outside of you that's going to take you out. When you come to that place of power, because that's real power, is you connecting with yourself, you adopting yourself, taking full custody of your life, nurturing yourself, meeting your own needs, acknowledging your own thoughts and feelings, and also respecting the fact that you might not always be right, and your thoughts and your feelings aren't facts. And you can challenge your cognitive distortions, and you can learn to cope and manage your emotions if you get dysregulated. And you don't have to stress about what other people think or how they perceive you or if they're even going to stick around, because you can feel good being who you are and knowing what's best for you and enjoying your own company, even when you're alone. That position of power takes away the effect of people, places, and things. Triggers. What we call triggers. Can you imagine being yourself in the world, moving forward? Maybe not right now, not right away, but eventually. Let's say you're out in the world and you're around all kinds of people, places, and things. But it has no effect on you because of your resolve, your conviction to be true to yourself, to no longer betray yourself. And because that is such a strong alliance that is unbreakable no matter who it is, where you're at, or what is in front of you. It's not enough to break through your defenses, because you will prioritize yourself and your well-being, and you will know what you need to do. I'm not afraid of what's out there. I'm not afraid of people. I'm not afraid of environments or things like that. I am not foolish to think that I'm like immune or invincible, but I know that I have the authority and the sovereignty in my life to decide where I go, who I hang out with, and what the hell I do. So people and places and things aren't just going to come and invade and take over my life. I get to decide. That's the power I'm talking about. You're not going to get that power if you refuse to embrace yourself. If you refuse to acknowledge what your responsibilities are, where you end and other people begin. If you can't make that distinction and say, okay, I have my life, they have their life, we're friends, we're close, we're family, we're lovers, whatever we are, but there's a distinction. What happens too many times to us when we do abandon ourselves for the sake of others is because we crave that connection, but yet we lose it when we think we have to be absorbed in other people's lives. When we feel like we have to be overly enmeshed with them. Because to be alone or to be ourselves is just unbearable. It's important that you take the time to be reacquainted with yourself, or maybe even get to know yourself for the first time. To start analyzing your own motives, your own desires, your own thought process, your emotions, how you operate. Not from a critical standpoint to put yourself down, but just to analyze it and see it for what it is, and then make the proper adjustments so that you can improve, so that you can overcome, so that you can transcend beyond the same negative behavioral patterns and consequences that come with those behaviors. Once you've aligned with yourself, you've reconnected with yourself, you become more attuned to your needs, to your emotions. It's like when a good parent is taking care of their child. It's like an instinct. You know what the child needs without them even being able to speak. I know what my daughter needs. She doesn't even have to tell me. I know as her father. And even if I don't know, I am still competent as a parent. Because there are things that I do have skills in that help me to work through whatever issues are going on. Even if it's just holding her and me staying quiet. Because if I talk, it's going to activate her and get her more dysregulated. And she's stuck in that crying spell. And so I recognize that me talking, even if I'm trying to soothe her with my voice and ask her if she wants this or wants that, instead, I need to just be patient and wait and hold her and let her feel the stability that I'm providing, because I'm remaining calm. I'm not getting anxious or frustrated because she doesn't stop crying right away when I wish she would. Whether my intentions are good or not, that's irrelevant. I need to be able to sit with that discomfort and teach her also that it's okay to cry, honey. It's those simple things like that. If we do them for ourselves, if we give ourselves permission to experience our feelings, to experience our emotions, and not think that we need to hurry up and escape it. We need to do something to cover this up. I can't handle this. I need to just, shut it down. Let me get something, even if it's something sweet to eat, or I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to drink a bunch of coffee, I'm going to go over here and talk to this person, I'm going to get out of my head, right? That's not always a good idea. Sometimes we need to learn some distress tolerance and sit with our discomfort, sit with our feelings, own them. But also know that our feelings aren't who we are. Just because you might be having a negative thought, a negative feeling, maybe even a bad day, doesn't mean that's the entirety of your life and your existence and your identity. When you are attuned to yourself, when you are honest with yourself, when you are connected to yourself, you're able to make that kind of assessment in those circumstances, and you know that this situation isn't forever. Remember, adversities, obstacles, even tragedies and unfortunate outcomes and things that happen like that, they come to pass. They don't come to stay. You're the one that gets to remain if you do well in terms of providing yourself with what you need. And it's okay to do that. I want you all to understand and recognize that today, now, here's your opportunity to make the best out of your own life by starting with yourself and making that commitment to yourself, to finally show up for yourself, to stop abandoning yourself and thinking that you're either not worth anybody's time or anybody's concern, or having the wrong expectation and thinking someone's going to come to save you, because guess what? Nobody's coming. And if you take your hands off the wheel, nobody else is going to drive for you. And there are so many things that's like so many people wish that they could, but they can't. Because if you're determined to self-destruct, that's your decision. And it's not fair to the people around us for us to set ourselves on fire and be like, hurry up, put me out. I'm burning. For us to dive into that shark tank and get chewed up and then say, hurry, pull me out. And then they pull you out and you just dive right back in. Look at me. Watch me do this flip. Boom. And you go right back in. It's like how many times can people come to your rescue? And I get it. Many times we confuse people's concern for us when we're struggling, when we're doing bad. We think, okay, that's love. That's them showing me they love me and I need that affirmation. I need that reassurance. But it's unnecessary. You don't have to go to extremes to hurt yourself just to know or confirm that someone else really cares about you. You don't have to get yourself locked up just to find out who the real ones are. They're going to put money on your books, send you packages, come visit you, put money on the phone, send you letters. It doesn't require that. I mean, it's time for us to now stop dousing ourselves with gasoline. And you'll see the difference. If you become your own best friend instead of your own worst enemy, you realize that there's so many good things in life for you to enjoy, so many things to be grateful for, so many ways for you to experience everything on an entirely new level. Free from the anxiety, the depression, the stress, the unnecessary, negative, oppressive feelings that accompany self-abandonment, the lack of boundaries, the prioritizing others' needs over yours, neglecting yourself, sacrificing yourself, putting yourself on the chopping block, realizing that even that's not enough because other people are still not benefiting from it, continuing to pollute yourself, poison yourself, consuming toxins, repeating same patterns of behavior, coming up with the same results, if not worse, every time. Toxic relationship after toxic relationship. Betrayal after betrayal. At the end of the day, you realize as long as you don't betray yourself, nothing else really matters. But it's when we betray ourselves, when we abandon ourselves, that we create all of these other dilemmas. It's like a chain reaction. You start abandoning yourself, and guess what? You start noticing everything else around you just doesn't work right. People around you aren't really who they say they are. Life is just not favorable to you. And it's not that the universe is conspiring against you. It's that you have forsaken yourself. And as a result, these are the outcomes. Every time. This is why relapse never gets better. And it's not fair to say I relapsed because you, or because they, or because this, or because that. Oh, relapse is 100% predictable. We're all psychics when it comes to a relapse. It didn't just hit you out of nowhere. If you relapse, it's because you knew what you were doing. And if you have experience in this is not your first rodeo, and you're not just in your beginning initial stages of addiction, then you got some experience. You already knew what the outcome was going to be too. And maybe it even was a form of self-sabotage at the end of the day. Because why would you expect it to go good? You know it was going to be bad and you did it anyway. That was my kind of insanity. And it was because I didn't have that connection with myself. You see, that's how important it is. If you love yourself, if if you prioritize yourself and your well-being, nothing's going to take you out because you won't take yourself out. And you're not going to be inclined to blame anyone else for taking yourself out. You'll own it. You'll be accountable. You'll hold yourself to that standard and live aligned with your own core values. And if it's meaningful to you to be healthy and have emotional regulation and emotional intelligence and internal stability and even financial stability and good healthy relationships and a robust, vibrant life, if that's important to you, those are your core values, aside from all the other things, the religions and the philosophies and whatever career path you want to take and all those other things. If you are just simply at the foundation interested in living a good quality life for yourself, you got to begin with connecting with you. And when you do, everything else, just like how things go bad for us when we abandon ourselves, guess what happens when you start to connect with yourself? All the things start coming together. You start recognizing, oh shit, I can enjoy healthy relationships. Oh shit, I can hold a job. Oh dang, this is going good for me. And when bad things happen, you don't see it as the end of the world. You see it as, oh, this is a challenge. Let's see how I can overcome it. There are solutions, and you start to troubleshoot. And there's people who learn to salivate over obstacles instead of retreating. They see it as, this is another opportunity for me to grow. And if you see things that way and you strive for that, knowing that you are capable, believing in yourself, there are no limits. And you will be unstoppable. You'll be a force to be reckoned with. And in that way, you will be more impactful and more beneficial to the other people. So if you're already an empathic, compassionate individual, but you learn how to make distinctions and separate yourself from others and own just your part and not absorb everybody else's bullshit and their drama and their problems, you're more effective in helping people because you know where the line is drawn. And you won't squander your abilities either. You won't just give and give to people that don't really want help. I'm very careful and selective about who I engage with, especially when it comes to mentoring, coaching, stuff like that. And here even, like I'm working here, I get paid to do this group for everybody, but in my heart of hearts, I'm not interested in the person that doesn't care about the recovery. And I'm going to tell you why. There's nothing I can do to change your mind. And I accept that. It's unfortunate. I wish I could. I wish I could lay holy hands on you and be like, I rebuke the spirit of addiction in you. Right? I can't. It doesn't work like that. If you're here and you don't want to be here, if you're here and you're just a body that's in this room, but your mind is elsewhere and all you think about is getting high, going back to your lifestyle, doing this, doing that, and you're just here for the meantime and between time for who knows what, to satisfy probation, family, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. If that's your deal and this is why you're here, I'm glad you're here. Hopefully some seeds are getting planted, but I'm not interested and I'm not focused on trying to change your mind. That's not my job. And there's absolutely nothing I can do when it comes to that. If your mind is made up to go back and using, all I can say is good luck. God bless. Hopefully you survive and you make it. I wish you well. That's sincere. But the ones that I do come here for with the enthusiasm, the optimism, and the passion that I have for recovery is for the individuals that actually want it. And it's not because I have the ability to do anything for you. It's that I'm working with you so that you can do it for yourself. These are tools that I'm offering. This is game that I'm trying to lace you up with. And now you got to go put in your own work and you get also reap the benefits of your own labor. And that's tremendous. And that's how this thing goes. And it's because I care about people that this job is so rewarding. But you see, I know how to make the distinctions. I'm not concerned about the people who don't want to help. I'm more inclined to focus and want to encourage and inspire people that are asking for more. If you come to me and you say, hey, Daniel, can you give me some more material, some more homework, some extra stuff? If you want to talk to me on the side, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. By all means. Because you're going to get what you put into it. And if you want to put in more work, I got more ammo for you. I got more straps. All right? How much do you want this? That's what I'm more interested in. And so by doing that, you don't get depleted. Because it's very, very frustrating when you want to help somebody that doesn't want to help. And I've been through that. And I had to learn the hard way that you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. And if you want to hand feed somebody and spoon feed them, but they're very capable of feeding themselves, eventually you just get stuck there as a slave, as a servant. And you're wiping their butt, and you're feeding them, and you're putting on their clothes for them. And they're adults, and they're just like, okay, cool, keep doing it for me. Right? It's never enough. And this is the problem that we have when we abandon ourselves for the sake of others. We don't get to recognize the fact that we're just using our resources in a very irresponsible way. It's a waste. Not of your time, but it is a waste of your energy and your abilities to be useful in other ways that are more productive if you're just being depleted. Because the narcissists, the predators, the people like that, the needy, the greedy, those are the ones that are going to come and say, gimme. And you're going to be like, all right. And meanwhile, you could be giving it to somebody else that actually is going to benefit from it, right? So making that transition, it just helps in all those ways. You really want to be helpful? Start by helping yourself. Then you'll be in a position to help people, and not just anybody, the right kind of people that will take it for what it's worth. Yeah.
It's like trying to plant seeds and for somebody who's planting on like concrete.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You're right. Yeah.
Mustard seed.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take a 15-minute break.